All right, testing, testing, testing. Um, Let me just double check one thing, make sure we are good to go, that you guys can hear me loud and clearly. All right, one moment. Let's double check that the stream is live and we are good to go. So you should be able to see my screen. Let me just verify that one moment. And just so you guys are aware, currently I am looking at MyFX book for economical fundamental news to see what currency pairs might have that volatility that we're checking out. So just give me one moment. All right, perfect. All right, so now that we're live, we are good to go. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop any questions in the chat. I'll look at them from time to time, but today, in today's video, what I wanted to do is something where we put everything together. You know, we've had these sessions where I've broken down how to utilize the dashboard. I've talked about marking up some currency pairs, but what I want to do is give you guys just a basic understanding of how you can put it all together when it comes to obviously you developing a trading plan and obviously executing it from there. So let me just run over, grab my mouse real quick, because you're going to notice aside from me checking out the news calendar on MyFX book, I also have Forex Factory up, because from time to time you may see that some news events might show on one, meanwhile they might not show on the other. So when I first usually hop on the charts, I like to have an understanding of what currency pairs may have volatility. So for example, looking at Forex Factory, it seems that the GBP is going to have high and moderate impact news at 4:30 a.m. in approximately an hour and 22 minutes. And aside from that, there's not going to be anything, you know, there's going to be some light news on the euro. But now looking at MyFX book, you can see that although we were looking at some high impact news on the GBP, on MyFX book, it's only saying that it's going to be a medium impact. And then, of course, we have some other impact news, but that's going to be during the New York session. So I think today's London session is going to be pretty productive. But like I said, this is the first thing I like to do, check out the news events, because from there, we're able to see, hey, what currency pairs may have the volatility on a fundamental standpoint. Because when we're using the dashboard, when we're marking up the charts, a lot of that is definitely technical play where we want to see the long-term moves rather than just short-term bursts that are caused by news events. So since there isn't too much news, I'm actually going to exit out of these two bad boys. Remember, with your MyFX book, if you actually go here where it says Home Forex Calculator, if you select on the position size calculator, what this helps you do is now understand what type of lot size you should be using when you're trading. So let's just say an example, if you have a $1,000 account, I like to risk between 3 to 5% each trade. So in this case, if we're risking 3%, just based off of the stop losses that we use, usually stop losses are between 30 to 50 pips. In a sense, if it's 30 pips, once we select calculate, it'll help us identify that the lot size we should be using is a 0.1. And that's obviously risking 3% on that $1,000 account. And as you have different stop losses, it is going to vary. So I like to use this position size calculator so I don't over leverage my account. This is definitely that long-term game that we're looking for. So now that you guys know how to use those, I'm actually just going to exit out of there, because something else that you guys should obviously have up is your dashboard, right? And currently, I don't see any major plays on the dashboard, which is perfectly fine, because that's actually going to allow me to go into my trading view and actually break down a few currency pairs. So let me grab my my mouse, and I'll be back shortly. All right, perfect. So since we're in that London session, we should already understand from our last session that we have which currency pairs we should be looking at, right? So already, without even looking at these pairs, I'm going to focus in on my GBPs and my euros. So that's definitely going to start off with GBP USD, Euro GBP, GBP AUD, GBP JPY, and you're going to see how we're going to be able to look at these pairs, mark them up, but at the same time, the great thing is we already have the dashboard that's doing a lot of that work, helping us understand out of those 15 different currency pairs, which ones we should maximize in the most, right? So let me just add a few other GBPs on here. GBP Swiss, GBP CAD, and I'll add some euros, Euro USD, USD CHF, Euro AUD, Euro JPY. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we could add Euro NZD in there and GBP NZD. So this is actually going to be a great list of currency pairs. And you're going to see that if you guys remember what we were talking about in the past, we can do a very extensive markup where we start off from the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour. But I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do a pretty simplified markup just so we don't miss out on any opportunities, right? So what I like to do is I like to go to my 4 hour time frame, right? And we're going to do the exact same things we were discussing in the past, where we go into our line chart and we identify those sharp points, right? Those moments that you see the market making those moves. So since we're on the 4 hour, you guys already know we're going to be using the orange line. And I am just going to go a little bit into the past to see if I could find that line. But if I can't, there it is. Now that I could find the line, you're noticing I'm actually in 2017. So we're going to use price action from 2017, clicking on some of those sharp points to help us identify some potential moves of where this Euro JPY can go. And all I'm doing is clicking on those sharp points, those sharp areas where you see the market hit. And if you have any question, all you have to do is go into your candlesticks. You can go to where the current price is. And you should be able to notice that from some of those levels that you identified, although it was in the past, look at how it's been affected in the future, which is great. So if there's anything else that you want to fill in that you believe the market should be reacting off of, as you can see, I clicked right here and clearly that was a resistance area, all perfect. So now you can see like this area right here where the market reached, I definitely want to be able to identify that. And also this area here, these supports. So let me see if there's any sharp points around there. I see a sharp point right here. I also have this mini sharp point right there. So perfect. Now, just moving down, I like that. Next, I'm just going to go into my 1 hour, and this is where I'm going to fill up everything else. When I say fill up everything else, I want to be able to, for example, you see this level right here, there's probably a sharp point right there. Boom, there it is. There's another sharp point right there, right? So we're going to fill up everything else that's remaining. But to do that, we want to be able to click on just where current price is. Go back in price. And here now we can start identifying some of these levels. Any sharp points that you see, just select it. You see, I'm trying to go from the past and avoid dealing with the future. Avoid trying to just click on the price action from the current price. You want to at least be able to have some of that past help you identify some of those future moves. So now that I'm here, I like this because I've already identified some key levels of where the market's at. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go, you can either go to your 2 hour or you can go to your 4 hour. And I want you to be able to look at the wicks in the market. Wicks show you a lot of indecision. So now the next thing we're going to be able to do is identify some zones, right? Here, let me make it like a pretty relaxed color. Don't want to, you just want to make sure you understand exactly what you're identifying. And I just want to identify this area right here because we have all these wicks. And what's really interesting is as I actually move that through the future, you can notice that the market wicked off of it again and through some resistance. So I feel this is a pretty important zone for us. Moving down, what are some other areas that you see wicks? Right? I saw these wicks here. The market tested it. So this is another area. As well as right here, you see these wicks. We have these wicks here, which obviously the market was what? Hesitating. We have this wick area right here. There's this area right here, wicks. There's this area right here with wicks. And as we're moving down, we're just identifying all those wick areas. So I like this one because this Euro JPY is what? It's in a really interesting position, right? It's in this zone, but something I'm going to do is I'm not just looking to enter in right now. I'm going to restrict the market because now it helps me identify what is the market looking to do, right? Currently, you're seeing that the market's breaking new lows. So currently it's in the downtrend. So you don't want to rush the trade as of yet. So patience is definitely going to be key, but it's good that we have this simple markup knocked out. So let me just put it to the top because I'm going to try to do this with most of these bad boys. Here, let me grab some of these. I'm just looking at some of these pairs, making sure that they're all clean. All right. All right. So let me move on to my next one. I actually want to mark up this Euro USD. So I got EJ already marked up. I'm going to mark up this EU because it's very interesting. Just a few things that I'm looking at is just a little quick point. We saw that the market broke this trend line. It actually retested it as it's going up. So what I'm actually looking at is if you notice, You can definitely put some type of restriction there, but the market may take some time to get there. But what I'm actually looking for this market to do is actually maybe pull back a little bit, then push higher. So it's a lot different. It's a lot harder for you to identify, hey, where's a good place to buy the market or sell the market, especially when you don't have the market marked up, right? So that's why I literally stress it and I tell everyone, hey, let's make sure to mark up our charts. First thing we do. It's not difficult. It's very simple, easy, doesn't take too much time, and it's going to save you a lot. And all I'm doing is looking for that level. As you can see, we're back in 2017 to help us with 2019 decisions. So let me just select on some of these sharp points, especially where the current price is. Right here, sharp point, sharp, sharp. Now moving, you can see that from the past, look at how the market's actually still respected some of these levels as a resistance, holding, consolidation, retesting, bouncing between it. So it's really nice to see that some of these actually play out nicely, right? Now the only thing that's left is if there's anything else, right, any other levels that you feel need to be addressed, identify them. And as you can see, currently we're just marking up the charts, which is going to help us see so much more, right? Here, let me just select now where this current market price is. I'm going to go back in time, find it. And remember, since we're on the hour, this is where we get to fill up the rest of the chart with some of those levels. All the other sharp points that you see, you identify them, right? So these already have sharp points right here. There's a sharp point right there. There's another one right there. There's one right here. There's one right there. There's obviously these down here. There's one right there. One right there. There's one right there. And you want to be able to be below price and above the price. So now that we're there, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing on. All right. As you can see, there's these low points. All right. Now, since we have this market marked up, what's the next thing that's left to do? We're going to look for some of those wicks and see if there's any important plays with some zones, right? I'm on my 4 hour. I did it with my 4 hour in my last markup, but I want to show you guys how to do it also on the 2 hour. If you actually go back, all you're looking for is wicks, right? Like right here, I see some wicks. All I'm going to do is double click that, click coordinates, and make that number a positive one above 1,000. And if you notice, just from this, look what happened. The market respected that zone. Let's see if there was any more respect to it over here. Some hesitation, nothing too wild, but I am going to leave it there because it will help us serve as a reference. So my next zone of interest I like is this one right here. Ready? Why do I like this zone? Because at one point it was serving support. The next point, once support was broken, it became resistant. Once resistance was broken, it became again support. Once that support was broken, guess what? It became resistance. There's obviously this area right here. The price was just showing us some hesitation. And you can see that that market definitely respected some of that. There's obviously this level around here. And I like to keep it minimal. I don't like to make huge zones. But the good thing about these zones, if you notice here, let me see if we can go to current price, is the market, by identifying some of these zones, we're able to see how is the market playing out. Is it above the zone, below the zone? So there's actually, if you notice right here, I like this. There's wicks, 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 some hesitation, hesitation. I like this. Now I'm going to see if I could just bring it down a little bit more because there is some long wicks here. And the reason I wanted to do that is because we have this area right here of hesitation, but it's consolidated sideways momentum, and the market definitely retested off of it right there. So I like that. All right, beautiful. So currently, let me just look at this bad boy on the 4-hour time frame. It looks like we've been having a lot of what, this sideways movement on this pair. Boom, 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 boom. Some nice pushes up, some nice pushes down. For now, I just wanted to show you guys, here we can go on the 1 hour. I'm gonna have just a few restrictions that we're gonna identify, right? We got this outer trend line right here. We have this inner trend line right there. And then of course we have this inner trend line right there as well. That was already broken and retested. And then of course we have this uptrend that's right there, right? So all of this now helps you see where the market could go if it's looking to break some of these levels. So for now, we're going to be a little patient, right? Because the key thing is once we have these markets marked up, then we're going to be able to apply what the dashboard is telling us. So like, for example, if we look at the dashboard right now, it's definitely showing us that from the hour to the minute, it's having some bearish opportunities, but the bears, the sellers are truly not even there. You know, it doesn't even show us that buyers are in this market. So this is actually a pretty dead market that's just looking to maybe trap some traders and maybe wait a minute. So until I get the sellers confirmed, then I can confirm the sell. But for now, it's really not there just yet. So in any case, something that's really interesting to me is that, yes, this market actually broke this trend line right here, but it's actually low-key been pushing to the upside. So possibly I'm thinking, is it looking to pull back, right? Do a little retracement, then continue higher, up maybe up to these next levels? And if that's the case, I'm just going to whip out my quick Fibonacci right there. Because I would, when you're looking at these markets, even if you're not using the dash, you always got to ask yourself, where could be the best opportunity for me to get in on this pair, right? And in the case, if we're looking to push this bad boy up, I feel that point would be right here, that between that 50 and the 61.8. And the reason being is, if you notice, it's with a zone, right? It'll come back, retest this zone, but also this 4-hour level. So this is why I'm just going to be a little patient. I'm going to see if we can look for maybe this baby to come down here and then maybe shoot up higher. So now that we have those two marked up, I'm going to do the exact same process that we've been discussing with some of our GDPs. Yeah, let me see if I can grab. I'm trying to see which one looks pretty beautiful. Yeah, let's just go with GU real fast. And I just want you guys to see how simple this process can be. It's not even something that takes a while to do it, but when you do it early and on the week, that's why I like to do my markups on Sundays. It'll last you the rest of the week. So you don't need to do this over and over again. Alright, perfect. You can see how some of these levels have been respected from what we identified, right? As resistances, maybe even as supports. Oh man. Now in this case, since we couldn't go back in time and find some price action, we're honestly just gonna have to deal with what we currently have, right? Some sharp points there, and just move those levels up. And let me see if we can fill in some zones on this bad boy. Like we of course have this zone right here, this area right there. Okay. Now this is where it's going to get pretty interesting, and the reason being is the next thing we would do is of course restrict this market. That's the outer trend line. Just going to grab this quick inner trend line right here. You can notice the market breaks the trend line, comes, retests it, consolidates a little bit. So the question is, what is it really looking to do around all this? So aside from that, we can also have this restriction right here, just so we can have an idea of how this market may want to move. So let me just take a quick look at the dash, see what's been going on here. Some of these pairs are pretty quiet right now, showing some consolidation, nothing too crazy. So while that's happening, while these pairs are setting up, the best thing to do is just be patient, but also mark them up. Perfect time. Let me just mark up this EM next. We're gonna do the same thing. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this dashboard as well to see if we can get any setups that are coming around, and then we'll move from there. I just want to see how's this baby looking. Got a really nice key point at 618. Not there just yet. Alright. As you can see, I clicked where that current price is just so I can go back in time and just find it once I go to my line chart to fill up the rest. Alright, so I'll leave that for now right there. But it's going to get really interesting. For example, right now, for the market to come all the way up here, that's over 100 pips. So I'm not too pressured on that. But let me see if I can find some zones of importance or just where the market may have had maybe retested, broke. All right. So this is nice. Now this is really interesting just because we clearly have this market that's doing a little bit of some consolidation. It would be more logical for maybe this backboard to come down a little lower, maybe create some type of test at this 4 hour at this zone. But for now, we can't predict the market. We're gonna react to it. So what I can do for now is I'm just gonna draw this trend line right here. The reason being is because you can see that the market was holding one touch, two touch. On the third touch, it dropped. On the fourth touch, it dropped a little bit, but it was actually like breaking through the market, right? Breaking through that. So it's really interesting because although the market's broken this trend line, maybe it can do a slight push back into this level, right? To retest that, to then maybe come up on us. But before all of that, we'd have to take it to some structured levels. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I like how it's looking though. So I'm just going to leave some of these backdoors. Let's just look at how some of these pairs are moving, how the dash is looking. As you can see, EJ is starting to look like it wants to go up, right? But I want to know, is that because of euro or the yen? Clearly, the yen hasn't shown any buyers, so I'm not going to do anything with that as of yet. These GBPs are now starting to look pretty green on us, so let me just make sure to see how they're looking. Now, I do like this area right here on this GU. The reason being is it was showing that support. It breaks that support and then became resistant, right? I'm thinking, is this going to be a broken resistance where the market can maybe come back, look to retest this area to go even higher, right? And if that were the case, we can actually bring out our Fibonacci. So for now, we have to wait and see if there's any play for the market, maybe come pull back. So for now, I'm just going to leave it alone. Can't do much on it. I don't want to rush this because as you can see, like if the dashboard, although the dashboard is showing us, hey, buy, right? It's showing us a lot of green. The buyers are there. Once this is confirmed and that turns green, you need to ask yourself, has the market already been pushing up? And if so, how many pips, right? As you can see, it's already made some nice strides to the upside. If you look at it on the hour, right? It would have been great to maybe catch this pair around this time yesterday. So, this is a whole nother day. Maybe on the dash it would have gave us some opportunities around here, but for now we just gotta wait it out. So it's not bad, and I like this Euro GBP. You got to realize two things, right? We're dealing with the Euro, but the GBP is definitely going to be pretty powerful. So I'm going to mark this up, but just so you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, the reason I like this pair is because of this, right? Let me just show you guys what we got, what's happening. We have this market that's been pushing up. Been pushing up, failing the low, pushing up, failing growth, pushing up, right? That's clearly an uptrend. This low, guess what the market did? It decides to break it, right? So clearly this is what the highest point. Has the market broken any higher, confirming the uptrend? Not at all. In fact, what it does is creates now the next low, and actually this was the most recent low. Guess what it did? It actually broke it, right? So even if this market pulls back, we can pull back to this area where we might see some wick action. You can see the wick action there, right? Let me just clean it up for you guys. Let me show you guys what zone I'm talking about. This area right here. To see this market pull back to then go lower would just be ideal, especially seeing that it's already creating those breaks low and those failures. So I'm really interested on that because what that would confirm is if it decides to push up, you already know GU goes opposite, right? So maybe that GU would have that opportunity to retrace like we were looking for before kicking it up higher. So it's just a matter of being patient, which is perfectly fine. That's the key to trading, the key to what we're going to be looking for. Me personally, I might think, hey, this GU might hit, this level, this zone, then want to pull back. So it's just a matter of just identifying, hey, where's the best opportunity to get in and get out of a trade or look for a setup, right? So I do like this EG, so I'm going to mark it up. Really interesting. Let me just see a few things. Pretty interesting. Just 386, 386. And this right here is nice how to stop. That 886 is a pretty nice area for turnaround, but if you notice, there's a lot of break action resistance in this area, which the market is at. So this seems really interesting. Hopefully we can get a nice sell on that EG. So let me just look at my dashboard. Do I have EG on here? I don't. So remember, you guys go to indicator list. I'm going to switch my NZDJPY for EG. So just type it in all caps, the same way your broker has it, and I'll update. Now in the meantime, I do want to just look at, it looks like these GBPs are trying to throw it up, but remember, when they've already had a lot of movement that's been pushing up, you don't want to rush the trade. Look for pullbacks, look for better entry opportunities. I do want to look at these GBPs, these JPYs. The reason being is, right now it looks like right here on the dash, it's starting to show some of these JPYs that are looking really bullish. But for right now, it's really interesting. There's definitely this area right here I'm going to be looking at. As you can see, it definitely hit that 61.8. So that's the question. If that's the case, is it looking to really throw it up higher? If that were the situation, I'm going to be very patient. Because even if these JPYs definitely want to go high, we're going to get some type of momentum, and then the pullback to the retracement is going to be key. Like for right now, like this GJ, it's in a pretty interesting spot. Let me see. And I like it. I like it because this GJ is going to be affected not only by the GBP, but also that JPY. So if the JPY is looking like it wants to go to the upside, that's just going to help if the GBPs are in the same type of maneuver. So as you can see, that's how I'm starting to filter out which currency pairs I'm looking at. As you can see, EU is just consolidating. If we can get that pullback, that would be nice. Alright, yen is going where we wanted it to, maybe some push to the down or going up. Alright, so while all of that is happening, I'm just going to go on to my real GBP, mark this bad boy up. As you can see from the past, look at this level right here that the market's been showing you some resistance to. So this next level is going to be really key to see if it really wants to break that. Around that 1 hour. Let me just click on the current prices. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's go to this 4 hours, see if we can get any wick action for some zones. Alright. This looks right here. Alright, beautiful. So now that we have some zones, it's really going to be interesting to see how this market reacts to this level. Maybe hitting it, hopefully pulling back to then continuing it. But let's check out everything else. Throw some restriction on this bad boy. Alright, so Euro GBP is definitely starting to show what that bearish opportunity, which is great. The GBPs are looking like they want to go bullish. So my question is, how high do they really want to go? Do they just want to continue taking off? Or is there any possible retest anywhere? I really think there could be some level of test, then pull back. So I'm going to be a little patient. In this scenario right now with this EG, we don't have too much restriction in terms of drawing these trend lines. As you can see, it's slowly been like pushing up. There's this trend line right there. Trying to draw a trend line from down here, you can see that the two lowest points already got broken. The next low right there got broken. So that's why I'm not too focused on this major trend line there. If anything, we're gonna just deal with just this flow that we had right there. So in a sense, any inner trend line could possibly be right there. But what I'm more interested in on is this right here. You got this high point, this point right there, because I want the market to stay below all this. It could reach up here for the pullback, but then I want to come lower. So if that is the scenario, and this is the lowest point currently, I'd be looking for selling opportunities anywhere around here, hopefully. As you can see, it's between the 50 and the 618. So it's not too much, but I got to be a little patient. Maybe we might not even get it, and it'll just push to the 38.2, which is just around here, a little lower. Into the next high point would be right there. So yeah, you might just get the action right around this level, but that's confirming that this is the lowest point. For now, we don't know. Let's see what's happening everywhere else. And EU is still quiet. GU, as you can see, it reached that high point, but now it's just a little quiet. Looking at the dashboard, you can see some of these GDPs are starting to lose that momentum. Same with that EJ. This is why it's key. Mark up the charts, see how the market's going, find the best opportunities. Once you get the confirmation, we pull that trigger. But for now, we're going to stay quiet. Everything is dead on this side right here, pretty dead. No real momentum. Markets are pretty quiet right now. And that's perfectly fine. It's the new hour candle. It's 4 o'clock. So the best thing that you can do is just continue marking up these charts and just look for all those opportunities and the best entries or setups to look for. I'm going to mark up this GJ. We already got EJ marked up, EU, GU, EM, EG. I'm going to mark up this GJ, and let me just show you guys why. Although it's been pushing down, you can definitely see it's been just creating new lows. But I just got a little bit of interest just going into this 30-minute. Something that really got me interested was it's really been consolidating since the 16th. So for the last 2 days. Although the market right here, let me just show you guys. We had this market that was coming, creating new lows, right? This was the lowest point. Still failing, right? Failing, going lower. It actually broke lower, so this is still potential downtrend. What really caught me, and we have to obviously wait because this is going to be a very key area to look for this market to react off of. But the market actually kicked back up and it broke this low. So I want to know, is that maybe a start of maybe just a slight push up? And if that's the case, we would get what? A retracement to continue that sucker, maybe even to this level, which would be a nice move for this session. So that's why I'm not really looking at this GJ. And if that were the scenario, you can really see that on this GJ. So let me go to the 30-minute. On the 30-minute, it shows a lot of, there's a lot of maybe wick action around this level right here. There's definitely some zones with some wicks around here. So those are all areas that are really interesting to me. And then eventually, if that is the high, we can possibly see some pullback to that 618 before going higher. This whole area right there. So it's going to be really interesting to me. I like this. I like this GJ. And if that is the case, That's just doing exactly what we needed. That slight retracement to then continue momentum. So for now, I'm just going to be a little patient, keeping my eyes on the dash. Still showing a lot of bullish opportunities, but slowly it's taking away some of our buyers. So that's pretty much saying this might be losing that momentum. So let me just go to GJ. I'm going to do a markup on this bad boy so we can continue our session. As you can see, I had to go all the way back to 2016 to find some price action. Trying to go back in price to see if we can deal with anything, but it looks like there isn't. TradingView won't let us go more back, so we've got to deal with what we have. All right. Let me see if we can get any zones in this area. Clearly have this long wick. I hate big zones, but just so you're aware, this long wick right here. It is where current price is, so that's where we might see that hesitation or potential pull. But with that zone being so huge, I'm not a fan. I like to keep it minimal. Clearly got this zone right here that price has tested. There's this light zone right there. Let's see where we are at. Just going to restrict this market. I got my outer trend line. It looks like we had an inner trend line. Market tried to break it, came down even lower. So like I was saying, is this that pullback, maybe retracement to even come up high? This is where it gets real interesting, right? Because even if it's looking to pull back, we do have some wicks, some mini zones that I was telling you guys about. Let me see if we can see anything good on the hour. It's clearly this one right here. There's a lot of wick action here, which is interesting. There's clearly a lot of hesitation here. So this is what's really going to be interesting with this pair. So if you guys remember, what I honestly am looking for, let me just check out these other pairs. Still got that hesitation. Maybe that pullback would be great. So far, hesitation, nothing much. We got quiet, quiet, quiet. EG is definitely maybe trying to do what we needed to do. But in the meantime, it's GJ. Like I was telling you guys, with these zones, I'm maybe looking for it to just push up a little higher, maybe into this area right here, where this next zone is. You know, if you can't expect a pair to just move hundreds of pips, but if we can get a pullback, some places we're looking for the pullbacks are at the 38.2, the 50, the 618, right? So you can see it literally ranges this area right here. So let me just make it a different box color. Okay. That's from the lowest swing to the highest swing. Then the next major swing, it would range from just the same area to about right here. That's where 618 is. So I'm possibly looking for this market to show me some type of maybe pullback, rejection to then go higher, hopefully. For now, let's dash is GJ is not showing too much power on either or, so that's why we're just leaving it alone, getting these setups going. Let's see what else we can see. So patience, patience, patience. As you can see, this EG trying to push us down is what's really trying to throw these GDPs to the upside. You can see that they're all trying to do some slight pushes up, but that's because they're moving correlation-wise, as we discussed last time. EG is going down, that's obviously going to push some of these GDPs to the upside, as you can see. So we got to just be a little patient. We can definitely see the dashboard is confirming those bullish pools, but they're not there ready just yet. And the main reason I don't want to like just say, hey, let's buy GU right here is because that's giving us so much more space now for any drawdown that could potentially occur. It's already at a high point. It would be a different story if we got the opportunity over here where we know, hey, it just broke a level, boom, it broke it. All of this would have just been profit, but then the pullback back to the entry level would have been, you know, zero drawdown, but then pushes back up. So for now, we just have to wait it out, just patience a little bit. But definitely with the dashboard, you know, some of these GDPs are looking bullish. So an EG is what confirming the selling opportunity right here, right? Perfect. Bearish, all sellers confirmed. So the next thing that we do is that we go to our EG and just ask yourself this. If we sold EG right now, right, based off of what the dashboard is telling us, If we sold it right now, what's stopping us, right? Clearly we have this level that's right there. We have this zone and this other level. But then we'd have to realize, where would we have to place our stop loss? All the way up here for about what, 30 pips? Yeah, you can always do that. But wouldn't it be more effective to maybe see this level hit and pull back? Yes. Right? And as you can see, as I'm talking to you guys, yes, EG is starting to move bearish. It's starting to move down as discussed in the dashboard. But I personally feel maybe it's looking to test the level, then pull back. And GU is probably going higher. Yep, it's at the same spot, right? As you can see, there's a zone there. Let's see if we can get a pullback, then a push. So, even though you would have been in profit from seeing the entry opportunity with the dashboard, 4 pips, that's fine. Let's see if we can truly get the bigger move, the better move. So for now, I'm just going to be a little patient and see what we can have. Because overall, these GDPs definitely are all showing us, hey, let's look for buying opportunities. But with our setups, with our markups, there's still a few things holding us down, some levels. So this is where I'm just going to wait it out. Let's see if we can possibly get that pullback, that retest, the retracement. That would be great on our end. But sometimes some of these pairs just want to continue taking off, and that's perfectly fine. So let's just see how this bad boy does. I'm just going to be a little patient because it's great to see that it is pushing down low. But the real key is when we can get a pullback retracement that's going to confirm the failure to go even lower. So we might, as you remember, we do have some high impact, moderate impact news at 4:30. So that fundamental effect can definitely play a role into making just a straight push. But I'm just going to hold off and wait. hopefully with these GBPs, we don't get so much volatility. The pullbacks would be very great, but since we do have a fundamental news event that's about to go down in 8 minutes, you might see some spikes, you might see some bigger pushes, as you can see, but I don't want to trade the news at the moment. You know, it's great to see that the dashboard is showing us, hey, bullish opportunities, selling on the real GDP. But if it was a regular day that didn't have as much fundamental news, then I'd be more into looking to press the buy and, get in on those. But I don't want to get in on volatility. So for now, I'm just going to be a little patient. Definitely, patience is going to be great to see if we can find better entry opportunities, even if it's on pullbacks or retracements. It's great to see that some of these pairs are breaking new highs, because that would just mean if they do have an opportunity to pull back or retrace, we can catch those moments. So I'm just going to wait it out. Patience is going to be on my side, and we'll see if we can get some great stuff very shortly. So I'm just going to have a quick 10-minute pause. If you guys are watching the replay, well, we'll just do like a 7-minute pause just so we can see how the news affected it. Make sure you can just rewind. You can just fast forward this clip the next 7 minutes from now, and that's when we're going to resume. So I'll see you guys in 6 minutes. So we do have our news event that it claimed it was at 4:30. So it's in about 8 seconds. So I just want to see what type of volatility we're going to be dealing with. I'm not looking to enter. Um, no pressure, no rush. As you can see, there definitely was a little jerk to the upside with some of these pairs on the GDPs, but nothing too fierce as of yet. Here we can look at the 5 minute. And this most recent candlestick right here was that news event. Um, and if you guys remember, the main reason I wasn't looking to really get in on anything as of yet is because I feel like you can still see some retracement, maybe a pullback on some of these pairs, even though they did, you can see that there might be some hesitation for now. That EG is probably looking a little, it's not showing too much momentum. If it would have been a big news event, then you would have seen huge movements. So for the market just to move a couple pips down, it's really not telling you anything. In fact, it's really just confirming that the opportunity for the pullbacks may be in play for the push down. If you guys remember, with this EG breaking this low, the only thing we truly are looking for is just maybe a pullback to go lower. Hopefully the euro doesn't impact EG too much, because we do need to keep that into our scopes as well. But there wasn't too much of a fundamental move, just something real small. Now I do like this GJ. I like it. The reason being is because it did reach one of our zones, but it also reached one of our key levels, which is that 1 hour time frame, that 1 hour level. So if the market, this is where if and then play will come in. If the market holds right here, we can obviously throw our fibs and possibly look for what? Between the 38.2 and the 61.8 to continue. Realistically, I feel like it would have to come into this zone right here, then maybe push up. Definitely this zone. It has to come back into here. So what I'm possibly looking for, and this is just to get a better entry opportunity, play to the downside, then we can go up. And for this to occur, what we would really need to happen is, except for all the other GDPs to do the same thing, maybe a pullback down. I'd like to see that pullback down, maybe into this zone right here would be nice. We clearly need them to stop and turn around, but you see how that 38.2, not only does it fall in line with this zone, but it would stay above this trend line we do have here, so that would help. But we would need Euro GDP to also pull back. So these next couple candlesticks we might be seeing some retracements, which is going to be great if we can get that confirmation. And if we can get that, we'll clearly see, as you can see, some of the GDPs are losing all of those buying powers. So this is why I say, the dashboard is great in helping us see where the movements are, because even if, like, I'll be honest, when we were talking about the dashboard giving us that EG sell, we would have been instantly in profit. It would have moved literally already about 8 pips. And I know this entry was a lot lower than where I had it before, but we would have been straight into profit. But I'm looking for the bigger moves, the juicier moves. It's great to have a tool that's, hey, helping us identify where the market's moving. But if we can get the market to look great on top of the dashboard, confirming that good move, that's why we want that educational piece beforehand before we apply the tool. It'll definitely help us out. So for now, I actually like like this GJ if it can hold. The key power is if it can hold. It's definitely been doing a lot of consolidation. Even, for example, if we can get this push, 38.2, 50 region is down here. Oops. Yeah, let me just confirm. This is how I would set it up. And this is a setup before we get the confirmation. You know, I would definitely enter once we get the confirmation as well with the dash. But this is just how I would set this pair up. Here we already have some zones. We're looking for the retracement to the 38.2 and the 50, which is this area. So what I'm looking for is, this is how I look at my setup. I'm looking for the market to potentially pull back to this area right here. Logically speaking, where would you place your stop loss? Under, right? Now this is about a 40 pip stop loss, which isn't bad at all. Because if the market holds, this is where it gets nice. If the market can pull back down here to this area without breaking the zone, the key thing is without. If it starts breaking lower, then we know it's an invalid trade setup. That's why we keep an eye on the dashboard to see what's really happening. Is it looking bullish? Is it looking bearish? Is it losing power? Is it gaining power on the buyers and the sellers? But if the market can pull back down here, I'll be not only looking for it to break above here, but definitely will be looking for this market. Give me a nice move with some targets. Here, with some targets being first target, clearly would push it back into structure. Back into structure would be a nice 25 pip move, but then I would push the next target to be for 50. And then I could push this back into our zone. We can do 80 pips, but I'd probably keep it right at 75. This is just a really conservative style. As long as this market holds that and retraces. So this would be the setup for now. I'll be a little patient for now. I'm gonna actually keep that GJ up top. I like that setup. EU is still really quiet. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Now GU, you can see GU is clearly trying to do some type of push. It's been pushing slowly but surely. Dashboard is still showing some strong bullish opportunities for the Gs. So let me just see how these other Gs are looking. Let me grab Euro GBP. I'm really interested on this Euro GBP because the pullback is going to be interesting if we can get it. If we can get the pullback. I just need it to stop and turn around. If it can stop and start turning around, then we know where we can get it at. Definitely there's some nice overlap. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing the highest point, which is right here. I'm grabbing the highest point, which is right here of structure, going to the lowest point. That's going to be one of my Fibonacci's. And then my next fib is going to be the next swing, which is right here to the same point. And this is as long as this market, as long as this is the lowest point, then I apply it. But if you notice, this 50% is pretty interesting right there. 61.8 is pretty interesting. But when I grab it from the next swing, look at what happens. We get some overlap. This right here was the 50% in our past. And now we notice, look, the 61.8 is right there on the new swing. So that can be possible or confluence of seeing this market pull back to this area right here, then showing some rejection. If we can confirm that maybe with some wicks, look at all these wicks. That's going to be a very interesting area to find the sellers. I'll be looking to get in there. Now, by that time, we might see the dashboard show some bullish, maybe as it retraces. But knowing what we already know about how market moves, what our setup would look like is grabbing a sell, placing stop above it, which would be maybe 20 pips, right? Why is it 20 pips? Because clearly I want it to stay below the trend line, below this level. This Fibonacci area is enough for it to resist it. And how far down would I be looking for it to go? Well, clearly we have like this next area here, this next zone right here, can be 20 to 20. But then eventually I want it to actually break lower. Boom. 45. So this is the potential setup, pulling back, continuing lower. So as long as the market doesn't break any higher on GJ and doesn't break any lower, I just need to stop and turn around. If not, we gotta obviously maneuver what we have. You see, for now, this GU, it doesn't want to turn around as of yet, but it's fine though, because when it does, this area right here is going to be really nice for a potential push up. Potential. But until I see the turnaround, I can't confirm anything. Let's see, what else do I like? So I'm just going to actually leave it at that. I like these two right here, this GU, EG. This GU is going to be a good one as well. It's going to look something like this. If we can get the pullback, if we can get it to stop here, pull back at least to the 38.2, which is right here from that low Fibonacci to that high point, 38.2. I would look for it to what is it going to do? Retest this zone that it broke, which was in the past resistance, so that should be a supported area. There's a 1 hour level right here as well, right? There's also this trend line that I drew, so it should respect all of those three things to then go higher. How far up higher? Hopefully we can get it to come back down there. I'll be looking to take it all the way up. We can do a nice 70 pip move as well. And on that journey where would I want it to clearly, where we might see some hesitation at is what? This level right there, this next level right there, and of course maybe with that trend line level right there and this level there. So if that's the case, these are going to be nice bad boys to look into. These GDPs clearly on the dashboard. I'll see if hopefully we can get the confirmation with both the dashboard and the market, so I can show you guys how it would look like. I'm going to, for now, I'm going to just leave the market. I'm just going to leave the dash running. I'm going to leave the hangouts on this currency pair, and I'm just going to take a quick break. Just because the market is just, it's patience is definitely the name of the game. You know, most of the time, a lot of people are impatient, so they would maybe just set a pending order right here, and the pending order, you know, right there and over here. But for now, I can't do much. You know, a pending order would be, of course, if I don't have the time to look at the markets. This right here would be a nice pending with my stop loss definitely being very minimal, 30 pips. So It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. I'll actually maybe send out these trade setups. I'll definitely send something out for you guys. Matter of fact, out of all of these, I do like this GU setup, so I am going to send it. For now, that's going to be the only one, but I'll probably look into sending these two as well. But this will be a setup that I see a few confluences in a sense of we have this trend line here, we have this broken trend line. The retest was there to push up. It's actually been breaking new highs, so coming down here is still the failure, so that's another confirmation. I'll just do like a 35 or maybe even a 40 pip stop loss, maybe 35 just to, we're not going to be risking it all. And let me just bring up a few things so you guys don't get too distracted. And just do a final 70 pip take. Alright, so we can do this one right here. Target 3. First target, you can push for 20. You can push for 25. And that's hoping if we can get these bad boys to reach. Retrace, getting a better entry would be great. But if we can't, target 2, 50 pips falls right into that next level. Two, 5. 2, 5. And as you can see, I'm not rushing the entry. You know, if I was looking to get in on the buy right here, what you guys got to realize is, yeah, you know, the dashboard did give us the buy. Yes, you would be up 10 pips, but now you got to account for all of the additional risk that you can have if the market does turn around. You know, 40, 50 pips. But for right now, let me just look at everything else. Really, we just want to move. If we can get a pullback, that's all we need. Just a little pullback, retracement. So let's see. And then our next target would be 70 pips. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few things off just so I can clean this bad boy up for everyone. I'm just going to clean it up right there. And then maybe 70. As well as oh god. You see, the dashboard is still it's looking too good. You know, it's already showing us on this G view that it might just want to keep going up from here. Which, although it's a good thing, it's a bad for those who missed out. EN, even EG is looking really good for this side, but they can get that pullback retracement. That's going to be really, like I said, the golden opportunity for us to maximize. Because if it pulls back, yeah, we might see some sells, but once it continues and shows us the exact same thing again, that's going to be greatness. So GU, we're just going to keep an eye on it. Now, let me just do this. I'm just going to have my stop loss. You can actually have a very minimal stop, but I'll just leave it at a 35 pip stop loss. And 415. 2415. Now in this case, since we're not entering immediately, you can do one of two things. Me, I'd wait if I'm obviously awake to see it drop here, show me some rejection, maybe some divergence or some rejection type of candlestick. Then I would look for the entry. But for those individuals who are asleep or maybe just can't be on the markets as much, we can do obviously a pending order where we want the market to come here, activate it, then take off. So for now, I'm just still waiting, still waiting. The patient wait is going to pay off hopefully for us. And what we got to realize is as this market is pushing up, we need to keep our fibs right there, locked and loaded. If it keeps going up, then we can obviously keep pulling our fibs up. But that 38.2 is still going to be that place of potential entry. So since we're going to do a pending order, I'm going to send it out for you guys. We would do a things. We would do a buy limit. Now, what a buy limit means is we need the market to come down, obviously activating our trade, then keep going up. So you can notice that the order that we're going to place is literally below the price of where the market is currently at. Buy limit. price for that is 1.245. 1.245. Let's see, let's see. Okay, beautiful. So I'm just gonna send this out to you guys on the Telegram. Very great to see. And I patiently wait for this GJ on the next one. But this GU, I like it just because there's a lot more confluences. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is, unfortunately, I don't know how long the market's gonna take, if it's gonna retrace or not, but I don't wanna maybe I'll just stay on here for a little bit longer to see. What I'll do is I'll just keep this page on GU open so we can see how the market continues moving from there. But let me just send out this quick alert to you guys. Alright, so let me just mute this bad boy. All right, so just want to do a quick review so you guys can see what's going on. It looks like these markets, hopefully we can get that retracement into these levels that we wanted on this GU. GJ is definitely possibly going to get to this level that we wanted to look for some rejection. Dashboard is pretty empty right now. You know, nothing too crazy on the big moves. Um, so that's the great thing about these retracements is that they were definitely well needed. Now it's just a matter of time before we can get back and get that momentum in it. Now, I do like how this EG is looking. If you remember, we wanted EG to actually retrace potentially to these levels. So now that we got that, it's just a matter of time. I like it. I like it. We just need a little bit more of a push on the retracement. We are golden. Now, the great thing about this GJ that I like, in my opinion, we have some action there. But this inner trend line is going to be nice, especially as it tries to pull back into these levels. But that's just going to retest to go higher. So I'll just leave it on this GU for now. Hopefully we can get that connection right where we needed it.